For George Romero, the true problem that infects human beings is rampant consumerism. The system of capitalism places us in this loop of continuous desire. It reduces us to a commodity and a thing that is used, rather than a person with dignity who is to be respected. The key to overcoming desire is to be minimal, that is to say, to desire less. But how is this possible? Desire goes further than demanding what is needed. I need food, clothing, shelter, medical assistance, education, and friendship. Since desire can never be satisfied, the worst thing to do is try to satisfy it. It is like the anorexic who refuses food. They desire not to eat, and in that desire, they think they have found a hunger that cannot be fed. Here I think the notion of drive acquires an ethical significance. For the most part, culture drives us to where it wants us to go. We don't really choose where to go. Here the notion of fidelity or loyalty also plays a key role. It is as if culture forces us to be faithful to the wrong things. Rather than be loyal to a person, for example, we are told to be loyal to a brand or product. This is the ethics of the marketplace, rather than an ethics that focuses on the uniqueness of persons. Living in a culture is like living on a predetermined track. Like a train, we can go forward, backward, or derail. But the key to freedom is learning how to walk on a path not set out in advance for you to follow. With few exceptions, the culture you find yourself in teaches you not only what to desire and how to desire, but what you really should desire. And the key to being liberated from desire is to see that you don't really have any real desires of your own. They are mostly manufactured in advance, setting you up for a false choice in the guise of freedom. Desire functions on a lack, which can never be satisfied. Desire can drive us to where we really don't want to go until we wake up and realize that our cultural fantasies have led us astray. Think here of getting something that you really want. A big house, a pool, a boat, a Porsche, and some designer kids. You get those things and then you reach a plateau and think that your problem will be solved by desiring more things, like that vacation home in Florida. It's like the Talking Head song that sings, "Into the blue again after the money's gone, once in a lifetime, water flowing underground." The Lacanian point here is that culture drives us to where we don't want to go. The drive, or what Lacan calls la pulsion, is the pulse or drive, or what causes us to act. What should drive us is not what culture desires, but what you aim to do with your life in a way that upholds your dignity as a human person. Freud identified 3 characteristics of the drive. Drive has a source, an aim, and an object. So you ask yourself, where does the source of my drive come from? What am I aiming at? What is the object that I seek? Where does my drive and desire come from? From culture or from myself? In terms of culture and drive, the key concept is manipulation. Our desire is manipulated into choosing what others want us to purchase or acquire, rather than what it is in our best interest. The ultimate goal of the good life is not more material objects, but understanding why it is that we desire the things we do. Zizek's example of Coke Zero is important here. Advertisements tell us that Coke Zero is refreshing and that it is the real thing. We purchase a can or bottle of Coke Zero because of the advertised promise that it will make us happy and fulfilled. Source and aim have made us desire this product. Yet upon further analysis, we realize we're drinking a liquid full of chemicals that has no nutritional value whatsoever. In terms of commodity, we are reduced to things. We are driven like a kind of cattle to the next grazing field, with everyone buying a fidget spinner or the next new manufactured product that has gone viral. Within consumer culture, we seek out the happiness that objects provide. However, we soon realize that the object we purchased is simply a piece of plastic. We are used as raw materials that benefit the profit of others, who control all aspects of our existence. And with the mapping of our DNA complete, these parts can further be manipulated. There are many examples of this dynamic persisting to this day. While Romero's zombie films look at exploitation symbolically, we need to remember that many millions of people live as real zombies under the domination of a master. Some of us are under the domination of many masters, some dead, others still alive. For Romero, the zombie narrative is about work, labor, and economics. Economics, from the Greek words oikos and nosmos, means law of the house. And if you look at the current social and political systems in place, we are all bound through the common denominator of work and labor. And remember that the Star Wars saga began with a trade dispute. But who does our work, labor, and toil serve? What does it accomplish? If our needs can be easily satisfied, why are the majority of the people in the world living in a state of lack and poverty? But notice the structure of the master-slave dialectic has not changed. B always works for A, while A receives more and more profit, while B gets more and more bills and debt. This is how insect colonies, corporations, and sweatshops work. But why should our cultures be organized around a foundation of greed? Zombie films bring the basic unequal structure of the master-slave dialectic to the forefront of our viewing. The best zombie film here is The Killing Fields, where the population is reduced to zombies who toil in the fields after the leader has reduced their civilization to ground zero horror. Can there be a way out of this imposed contract that very much resembles the time of the Egyptian pharaohs? All of us are building pyramids for someone else while neglecting our own lives. Can the social contract be overcome? Aristotle argued that those who live outside of society must either be beasts or gods. Rousseau argued that outside of society, we are like beasts, driven by instinct and appetite. For them, a social contract was necessary to obtain and preserve order. Notice, however, that even with a social contract, the state can turn us into beasts while protecting itself against our own life and dignity. The issue is that the social contract is artificial. It is a house of cards, a house of straw and sticks. But what is the alternative? Romero's second zombie film, Dawn of the Dead, engages in an open criticism of contemporary consumer and capitalist culture. By setting the bulk of the action in a shopping mall, Romero draws the audience's attention towards the relationship between zombies and consumerism. The film shows us how the desire to consume is perhaps the only thing to escape death.